Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to today's episode of the X-RAD Show, the talk show that gets you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from New York City. I'm Xander Gibb.
And I'm Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck.
Oh, yes, sirree. On today's wrong teeth in. On today's show, the very hottest of topics, and in part two, David Weissman from Reactionary Times joins us. More to come in a mere moment. So you can tweet us. The tweet deets are on the Xrad Facebook page, show page for today. You can join in the conversation around the live feed, and we will endeavor to involve you in the conversation. Welcome back to the show, Chet. How is the world with you? And give us an update on the fact that you are still in Facebook jail. What day are we on right now?
Oh, we're coming down to 5 days. 5 days more, and then I'll be back at it. And I got to tell you, it's going to feel good being able to, once again, do what I like to do on social media, and that's promote our show and you know, promote you and promote everybody else that's in this movement that we've got going on. And no, we are not being influenced by Russia. So that's what I have going on. I have 5 more days in lockdown, in purgatory. It's tough. You know, people have been sending me rations and supplies, and I feel like I'm kind of on a desert isle.
Right.
Xander. It's tough without with the backing of my peoples.
Absolutely. I've been there myself because, you know, as you know, out there, Facebook banned me for using the word faggot, and it was only for 24 hours, but I'm just concerned that a lot of conservative broadcasts are getting this BS from Facebook with regards to what they're allowed to say and what they're not allowed to say. And now that really bothers me, you know, because if we truly live in a democracy, we should be able to say what we want to an extent on social media. But when we're banned for our opinions or using commentary that is deemed to be offensive, because why can't a gay man call himself a faggot? Why can't Chet share an article that's already been shared without getting banned? You know, the concern for me is that clearly this is a money issue with Facebook, because Facebook are clearly being paid in order to silence conservatives.
Well, also what I worry about is the de-promotion of what we're doing. You know,
right?
Are they able to kind of hack us and make it unavailable to the masses, and able to see Freedom on Deck or Xander Gibb,
right,
or Julio Rivera or Andrea Kay, or, you know, you can even go to the big guys, Michael Savage or Mark Levin, or anybody that sees things in a different scope besides theirs. And that goes into the fact that, you know, Facebook is ran in the same type of fashion that the EU is run.
You mean badly?
Yeah, that too. But, you know, it's not a place for Americans to go and speak their mind. We're monitored.
Right.
Like I've said many times on your show before, we're monitored over what they call fake news. When it's fake news, but it's Snopes that is monitoring you and deciding what's fake or not, you have a fake news site monitoring what's fake news.
Yeah,
it kind of gets caught up in a crux where I don't understand what I'm supposed to put out there.
Right.
You know, I'm worried. Here's the thing, Xander, and I'll tell you this. I am worried about when I come back onto social media and I get back out there with Freedom on Deck. Am I going to put the wrong thing up? Eventually, am I going to be banned forever?
That's a great point.
Is it going to be something where I can't come back? I mean, like you said, there's always ways to go around that and create a fake account and all that nonsense. But eventually, they catch up with you on that too, I would assume.
Right.
So, you know, I'm worried about what I should put out there now. Should I start wording things differently? And you know what? That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want.
I would agree.
They feel that I can't talk about certain stories in a certain way and put a certain light on it because then they have control of my messaging.
Right. They do.
Or your messaging or anyone else's or even the people that listen to us.
But this is...
When they've got that control over the messaging, they win.
They absolutely do, and this is one of the things that I've said, because here's the thing. If bodies like Facebook penalize people without actually telling them what they did wrong, it's like, you know, your dad, you say to your kids, if you spank your kids and say, don't you ever do that again, but they're like, Dad, I don't know what I did wrong. If you don't tell them what they did wrong, they're not going to know what they did wrong to not do it again. And this is the problem with Facebook. You know, a few years ago, I lost my whole account. I'd gone to my maximum. I had my fan page, which was at the maximum too. And they used to say friend suggestions, and then you would send the friends request to that person. And if that person decided that they didn't know you or they didn't want to be your friend anymore, Facebook would penalize you then for that. So why send you the Facebook friend requests, you know, in the first place? It's a total concern for me, because basically Facebook and Mark whatever his name is, Zuckerberg, I know it's pronounced Zuckerberg, but I like to call him Zuckerberg. Yeah, he basically, it's the Gestapo. Welcome to Stalag! You know, and we shouldn't have this in social media. I want one of these really rich Republicans out there to put some money into to a conservative social media platform where we can say exactly what we please, because that is the only way forward, because clearly the Dems have got it sewn up here with Facebook, and even to an extent with Twitter. And to me, it's a concern. And I actually consulted a lawyer, a friend of mine who's a Hollywood lawyer, and I said, are my First Amendment rights affected when Facebook try and censor me? And apparently you have no rights under the First Amendment on social media because it's a private organization, and that really freaking bothers me. And
they also organized that through Obama. Don't forget, but Xander, can I mention something about Sadie Saucier real quick?
You can indeed.
Okay, you know, we're on terrestrial FM. Our morning show, which goes from Mondays to Fridays, is Lee Elsey, the voice of freedom. He's big league, man. I mean, this guy per day, you know, captures 200,000 to 300,000 listens. Now, we got together with Sadie. We're able to get her together, have a powwow with Lee. So next week, Sadie's going to be on the show. I don't know if she's in the live feed right now. I'm not looking. I know I saw that Michelle Daigle was. But Sadie, I believe, is going to be on Monday mornings for wherever anybody out there is interested in listening to that. Because this is a big interview. This is a good interview for her. This is going to be on 94.9newsnow.com. That's WJJF FM radio. And you go right to 949newsnow.com. That's the way you listen. You can either download the app if you want to listen to Freedom on Deck Sundays from 3 to 5. Or, you know, if you're not interested in listening to us, that's fine. But, you know, also, if you're following the story of Christian Saucier, it's a good idea to go listen next week. I'm sure she'll put it out on the live feed if she's listening now, or maybe Michelle will. And we'll figure out when that day is. I think it's Wednesday. I thought that's what she said.
Absolutely.
On that. But this is going to be some really good stuff. I'm really happy that she's going on with Lee. It's going to garner a lot of attention. attention.
Absolutely. And another Christian Societe update before we move into the hot topics is the fact that on Saturday night we're having via the Free Christian Societe page, we're having a Judge Jeanine Pirro viewing party. And we want you to go to Judge Jeanine Pirro's page because she's interviewing the poetess on Saturday. And we want her to ask him about Christian Societe's pardon. So go to Judge Jeanine's page. Wait till the show is over and wait till you've shared this show before you do it. And then ask her to ask him about that. So we're going to watch the show in tandem. We're going to live tweet the president politely because we still support the Donald. We want you to politely tweet the president on Saturday night to pardon Christian Societe. We'll remind you more about that towards the time. I just want to say a few hellos to people in the live feed because they feel a little left out if we don't say hello. Hi to Gina. Hi to Lewis. Hey to Zell. Hey to Dave. Welcome. Hey to Renee. Welcome. That's a new, maybe, I'm not sure if you've been in the feed before. Hello to Flower. Welcome to you too. I don't like this new liking situation because when you click like, it just highlights it. Hey to Joe. Hey to CV. Welcome back to the show. He was our guest last night on the show. Welcome to... who else? Everybody else that's in the feed, but not commenting. Feel free to comment. Hey to Eileen in the live feed, and we will endeavor to involve you in the conversation. You don't have to agree. You don't even have to be a conservative because this is the place where we really start to make the show what it is, and it's the talk show that gets you talking. So without further ado, I want to jump into our first topic of the day. We talked a little bit about this this week already, and that is with reference to the fact that President Donald Trump this week quite rightly fired, not from a cannon as I would have wanted, but fired from his job, Jim Comey. And it continues to cause controversy. Now, the Dems say Trump was wrong to fire him, even though Chuck Schumer himself said Comey needed to go. Rosie O'Donnell said in December that Comey needed to go, and now he's gone. Rosie is mad that Trump did it. Accusations fly that it was done to cover up the president being investigated. But let me point out to you, stupid people out there in the United States, the president is not under investigation. The process was under investigation. Now, even though there isn't actually an investigation into the president, people are still saying that that's the case. Now, he's gone from being likened to Hitler to being likened to Nixon. Who's he going to be likened to next? The Pillsbury Doughboy. No, that's probably going to be me. Okay, bad example, but one thing we can all agree on is that Trump did the right thing. So we've not really discussed this situation, but I'm guessing that you are 200% behind the firing of Spicer. Oh, that was Freudian. Comey.
Yes,
Yes.
James Comey.
Yep.
Absolutely, I'm 110% behind it.
Yes.
Before you go any further, Xander, Elaine on the feed is asking for the call-in number. So, of course I'm for this. I mean, listen, the Democrats, they're in a bad position right now. They're painted into a corner. This who calling for Comey to be fired this past year? Harry Reid,
Yeah.
Schmuck, the Chuckles clown Schumer,
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, James Carville, advisor to the Clintons himself, and of course Maxine Waters. Maxine was on MSNBC last night. The guest was confused by Maxine, which normally happens anytime she opens her trap. Anyone listening to her gets confused. But she said, the question he asked was, if Hillary Clinton had been elected, would you be okay with her firing James Comey? I don't know if you heard this or not, Sam.
No, I didn't, but I can guess what you're going to say.
Yes, because of what he was espousing against Hillary Clinton, I would expect her to fire him. And he said, so I'm confused. You're saying that you wanted her to fire him, but you don't want Donald to fire him. And
Right.
she says, no, because Donald Trump's is bad timing. First of all, any time, Xander, that Donald had done done this, they would have said it was bad timing. It doesn't matter if he did it his first day in office. It doesn't matter if he does it after his first 100. It doesn't matter if he did it 2 years in, 4 years in.
Right.
Because they would have gone down the same road with Donald Trump as far as, it's to cover up Russia, and it's because James Comey found something. Well, James Comey himself said that they had no evidence of any collusion.
Exactly.
Even the Democrats that are on a witch hunt for this had said that there's no evidence of collusion. But Xander, I have to tell the people, though, the removal of the director was only due when advised by newly appointed Deputy Attorney General Ron Rosenstein. Why is he newly appointed? Because the Democrats are trying to block every appointee that Trump puts down.
Right.
James Comey also had an approval rating of 17% with the American people.
Well, let's face it, when you let Hillary Clinton walk free, when you have categorical evidence that she deserves 10 years in prison, how are people supposed to react?
I agree with you. But let's think about all the FBI failures under James Comey, Xander. You know, they were warned by Russia, or Russian intelligence, the evil Russians, right?
Yeah.
About the Zarniev brothers. Russia warned us about these guys 2 years prior to the Boston bombing. And what happens? James Comey does nothing about it, and all those people die. That little kid, that sick son of a you-know-what, put that package behind, and that poor 12-year-old, I remember him with his Boston Red Sox hat on, and he was waiting for his father to cross the finish line, and he died. He died because of the failures of our intelligence.
Disgusting.
What about Nadal Hassan, the Fort Hood shooter? They had emails that Nadal Hassan had sent out with sympathies for Al-Qaeda. They had sworn allegiance with ISIS. They did nothing about it. He ended up killing massive amounts of people in Fort Hood. How about that? What about when they looked into the Pulse nightclub shooter, Omar Mateen, for over 10 weeks and then took him off the terrorist watch list? What happens? Many, many people died in that nightclub. And then Saeed Farouk and his jihadi wife, they were on a terrorist watch list prior to the shooting in San Bernardino. But they did nothing about it. And again, multiple people dead. Because our intelligence was infiltrated by the Obama administration and allowed to get away with this crap. And it's high time that Donald Trump cleans it up.
Exactly. But I think it's ridiculous to think, people are saying, it's been 100 days. Donald Trump hasn't drained the swamp. Do you know how deep this frickin' swamp is? Do you know how long it's been going on? Do you know how many people are actually colluding and getting paid to do stuff? Do you think that this is going to happen overnight? It absolutely isn't. And the thing is that the American people deserve better. And when you have someone in charge of the FBI that's more interested in political leanings or fear of what may happen for doing his job, he should not be there. There is no way he should have been doing that job, and he should have resigned after the Hillary Clinton debacle, because the fact that she walked away from 33,000 case points of mishandling classified information, and Christian Saucier sits in jail for 6 that were never even disseminated. There is no justice in these United States while that bitch walks free.
Speaking of Christian Saucier, I just saw Sadie in the feed. Sadie, please tell us what day you will be on with Lee Elsie, because we were talking about it previously. Listen, Xander, I got to tell you, man, if I could put my tinfoil hat on for a little bit, okay, and bear with me here. Bill Clinton was the last to fire his FBI director on July 19th, 1993. That was a day before Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park. So I can assume, just like the Dems are assuming, that this was over Russian connections, then I can assume that the firing from Bubba was a cover-up of the death of Vince Foster, because they politicized.
Surely not.
I mean, Xander, do I really believe that? I don't know. I mean, it's awfully coincidental. Did the director back then know too much about Bill Clinton?
Probably.
But the whole thing is, my point is, it's so politicized now. Back then, they didn't connect the dots. You know, it's like now with Donald Trump in there, so pissed off that everything's about Russia. Everything's about Russia. It's not the Cold War anymore, for God's sake.
No, exactly. Exactly.
It's infuriating to me.
I have to say, though, news just in, they have just found some links between Donald Trump and Russia. They found 4 cases of Russian vodka in Trump Tower. So there is the evidence that they've been looking for all along. I mean, isn't it got that ridiculous? Isn't it time for them to stop being so stupid? Because the thing is that if they had evidence of collusion, they would have used it by now. You know, they would have used it during the election. And so to keep talking about Russia is absolutely ridiculous. Now, here's the thing. Do I like Putin? Absolutely not. Do I think America should foster better relationship with Russia and other countries and actually make them allies? Yes, I do. Because long term, this is what we need. We need strength in this world. And if we're alienating everybody, that's not doing any good. So if Russia have done wrong, then they should be punished. But I don't really think that they have.
No, there's no evidence that they have. There's no evidence. And listen, Xander, even our good pal Lindsey Graham approved of Trump's removal of Director Comey.
Right.
He stated that James Comey had been compromised. Now, whether you like Lindsey Graham or not, and I don't, I almost called him my little name for him, and I'm not going to do that.
Go on, do it, because I wonder if Lindsey Graham's boyfriend approved or not. Oh, did I just say that? Did I suggest that Lindsey Graham
I
was
call
gay?
him Ginsey Graham, you know. So anyway, hate him or not, okay? Lindsey Graham was a federal prosecutor, folks. Okay. Now, when he puts out a statement like that, that tells you that it was done by law. Okay? That Donald Trump had every reason, because of his intelligence community, that was telling him, listen, this guy's no good. He's out to get you. There's a witch hunt. Don't forget, folks, I've said it many times on Xander's show, and I hope you're all listening. James Comey's brother is the head lawyer for the Clinton Foundation. Now, you're telling me that there's no collusion? Give me a break, bro.
Wait.
I mean,
Wait,
you know,
what
it
about...
doesn't take a rocket science to figure this one out, Xander.
No, it doesn't. But what about this? You know, I'm not a lawyer, but I know a lot of people that are. And one thing, you know, I watch Law and Order, so I know pretty much about what goes on. From the perspective of, they talk always about there cannot be an appearance of impropriety. Loretta Lynch, meeting with Bill Clinton on a plane, appearance of impropriety. James Comey's brother-in-law working for the Clinton Foundation, appearance of impropriety. There is just too much crossover. And the thing is, whether you want to sit and argue all day that these things are not what they appear to be, is your choice to do. But we keep coming back to the same thing with regards to appearance of impropriety. It's not good, and it does not highlight transparency, and that's what we need from people that are running our country. And the thing is that when we don't have that, and when we don't have that from law enforcement, then what chance does the average man in the street have? You know, they end up in jail for nothing, and we've seen it happen time and time again. But I think ultimately, now that James Comey is gone, this should clear the path for an independent investigation into Hillary Clinton's crimes and Bill's.
I hope so, you know, and you make a good point. You know, it was Dianne Feinstein, Miss Feinstein, we all know who she is. She's the claimer that special prosecutors should be brought out to Donald Trump. Well, I would argue, Miss Feinstein, that they should be brought out on many different government officials. And they should first take a look at you, Dianne. When in the Intelligence Committee in California, she had insider trade information, Xander, due to Freddie Mac, and got her mittens on a hell of a lot of cold cash.
Right.
We all know that. And was there any special investigation or special prosecution done for Miss Dianne Feinstein, the queen. I like to call her the Queen of Diamonds, because she, you look at the woman and you say to yourself, how does somebody stay in power this long with such a horrible record? And look at the state, the failing state that she's in. Where does it all go? Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at her inside information with Freddie Mac.
Right.
It's the same thing that the Clintons do with the Clinton Foundation. Where did all that money go for Haiti, for all the orphans?
I can tell you.
The Clintons' wedding.
Yes.
And their personal home.
Yes. But let me tell you this, the thing is that all of these people that are pointing fingers at the president, like Wiggy Waters, she acts all innocent and everything's absolutely fine and dandy. But her husband runs a bank that has benefited from the government and only wants to give accounts to black people. All of these people pointing the finger, it's called deflection. Because if I say, Chet stole 2 pieces of pizza when I stole 5, you're going to look at Chet more because I'm pointing out that Chet stole the pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
So give that pizza back now.
You make 100% perfect sense right there. But Xander, you're talking to liberals. Liberalism's a mental disorder. They don't seem to see, in black and white. They kind of see it in gray.
Right.
And, that's the problem that we have right now. And the media is terrible, terrible. I mean, look at when our buddy Andy, God, I can't even think of his name right now, from CNN over there.
Cooper.
Yes, Mr. Cooper Pooper.
Yep.
Yeah, he brings on Kellyanne Conway. The woman is in the president's administration, like her or not, and I'm not the biggest fan.
Right.
But you roll your eyes? What an embarrassment. I mean, how transparent can you be? And I mean transparent in a bad way. Anderson Cooper should be fired for that.
Of course.
And it's embarrassing that he's kept on that. Well, it's CNN. What do you expect?
Well, we know who his mother is. We talked about this today. If your mother is Gloria... If your mother is Gloria Vanderbilt, you can basically do what you like. Do you think Chelsea Clinton would have all these honorary degrees and be allowed to swan around like she's royalty if she wasn't Hillary Clinton's daughter? I can't say Bill's because apparently she's not, but that's a story for another day. But I want to shift even direction a little bit because a story that jumped out at me today, which I found kind of concerning, was that Oregonians, that's people that live in Oregon, may soon be able to identify themselves as neither male or female, as Oregon works towards becoming the first U.S. state to allow a third gender option on its driver's licenses and state identifications. Now, last June, Multnomah County Circuit Court Judge Amy Holmes granted a request by Army veteran Jamie Shoup, who has been transitioning since 2013 to change the retired sergeant's gender from female to a third non-gender option. Now, it was believed that the first decision of its kind in the United States. I deserve the right to properly classify and identify here on the homeland, Shoup said in an email to Reuters on Tuesday. Now, the rights of transgender people, along with people with public policy involving gender, have become polarizing issues across the United States, most notably in several states, including North Carolina, which have tried to address the use of public bathrooms. Now, since Shoup's, I can't not laugh at that name. I just think of Cher. Since Shoup's request was granted, Oregon's Department of Motor Vehicles has been researching the state's gender laws and determining how to incorporate the third option into the state computer systems. Now, I don't know about you, but all the years I've been on this earth, there have been men and there have been women. And I don't want to be unkind towards trans people, but if you were born a man and you become a woman, then you're a woman. If you were born a woman and then you become a man, then you're a man. Now, I refer to myself as unicorn because Facebook allows for 50 different genders. But it's really coming to something when a state is allowing the liberalization of America. What do you say about this, Chet?
Well, first of all, there's one thing they can't change about their physicality. Your hip bone cannot be gender neutral. That is the one bone that you cannot change.
Right.
It's adapted for women in order to have children. Okay? So gender neutral or not, whether you have a disease and you're, I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean to say it, and I hope I'm not offending you or anybody else, but I think they have mental issues, okay? I really do. They can't identify with who they are. So on this license, from what I see, and there's actually a picture of it on CNN, they're going to put X next to your sex.
Ridiculous.
So that says that you're gender neutral.
Right.
There's a lot of this going on. Well, we saw it with the MTV Movie Awards. Who really gives a crap about the MTV Movie Awards? But it was Watson that won the first gender neutral MTV Movie Award. So she got Best Actor. So now there's not Best Male or Best Female Actor, which is the way that it should be. Because, we were talking before, and as you said, so now if it's a constant winning of the man, then it's going to be, well, look at the biased, right? It's going to be look at the biased.
Right.
So I don't know where we're headed with this. This is where I get confused because we have children deciding at the age of 7 or 8, or sometimes even younger, that they're not really a boy, they're a girl, or they're not really a girl, they're a boy.
Right.
The identity of your sexual character only tells me that that child is thinking sexually.
Right.
And that opens the door for pedophiles and perverts to come in and take advantage. So, okay, well, you identify as this, little Jimmy, but you know what? It's also okay if you identify with loving an older man.
Yeah.
Maybe a man in his 40s.
Yeah.
A man in his 50s, a man in his 60s. If you think that's not what we're headed down towards, folks, you're not paying attention.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny, I told you earlier that, I'd had a discussion with a friend of mine a few years ago about when the same-sex marriage stuff was coming in, that was going to open the door for pedophiles to say, well, they should get the rights, because they're NAMBLA members, that they should be able to have their perversions. And I'm not suggesting that gay is a perversion before anybody, goes there. But it opened the door for that. But here's the concern for me. What you said about the MTV Awards being sexist, the whole reason they brought in the categorization of best male and best female was so that they couldn't say, oh, well, it's only the men that get the awards or only the women that get the awards.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're actually backtracking on this, and it's worked well. But it's because the thing is, for me, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I do have to say, with regards to the trans stuff, whether it's viewed as being a mental illness or not, if you're an adult and you decide you want to take hormones and have your breasts hacked off or have some sewn on or have your winky pushed inside and turned into a hoo-hoo dilly cha-cha, good for you. But I think that any child under the age of 18 that is allowed to do that kind of thing with the parental consent, that is child abuse. Because you don't know what you want for dinner until you're older. Never mind what sex you are or what your sexuality is. And nobody should be messing with that. And if you try and do that to children, then that is child abuse as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and the other point to your point is what I said about having a mental disorder. And what I see coming out from the LGBTQ, LMNOP, XYZ, now I know my ABCs community, is that as stern and steadfast as they are, and they think that they're under attack from Donald J. Trump, and that the conservative movement will put them in concentration camps and lock them away and gas them if possible, and maybe make soap out of their fat cells and make lamps out of their skin. I have to tell you guys, when I see you out there in protests and promoting Sharia law, you have no idea what you're effing talking about.
Yes,
okay?
Exactly.
You have no clue, and that's where I think the mental disorder lays.
Absolutely.
It becomes very political, doesn't it, Xander?
It does. Chad, I have to stop you there because our guest is going to be here any second, so I have to do his introduction. He'll be calling in any moment. Our guest is our usual Thursday night friend. His name is David Weissman. He is a writer, broadcaster, and contributor with many, many sites, Reactionary Times, Politichicks, you name it, he writes for them, and he'll be calling us any second, live from Israel, to talk about some of the hot topics and things that have been going on this week. I would love it one time for them to call in just as I finish the introduction, so that I can say, so please join me in welcoming to the X-RAD show, the one, the only, the fabulous Mr. David Weissman. No, and it doesn't happen. But you know what it's like with international calling. Sometimes it works the first time, other times you got to do it 20 times. But do carry on with your thought while we're waiting for David to call him.
Well, my thought is that...
Oh.
Here we go.
There we go. Hello, Fangoise. Can I take your order?
Sure, I'll take 3 slices of cheese pizza.
No, sir, we do not sell pizza. We only sell Chinese food. You go to Italian for pizza, okay?
You want Chinese food or what?
You want Chinese food?
Sure, I'll take General Tso's chicken. How about that?
No, we out General Tso's chicken. We just got conversation tonight. So...
Oh, you're fired.
Well, how dare you? Where is that block unmute button? This is, of course, our Israeli correspondent, Mr. David Weissman, calling live from Israel. Shalom.
Shalom, how are you guys?
I am pretty good. Did you bring cake or chocolate for us tonight?
No. Maybe coffee. How about that?
Yeah, okay, we'll take that. So I want to dive right in. I want to carry on a little bit of this conversation before we jump into some more Israel-related stuff. But we were just talking about the fact that Oregon State is now going to add a third sex, so there's going to be male, female, and X, gender, on driving license and state IDs. What do you make of that, David?
What is an X-gender?
It's
You tell me.
neutral, David.
I'm X, but I'm not X-gender, So I'm really not sure.
That is really ridiculous. I mean, there's man, there's woman. I mean, that's what it is. And then that's ridiculous.
Absolutely. So you don't identify as a unicorn or anything like that, then, David?
No.
No.
Xander, can I say hello to David real quick?
Sure. Fire away.
David identifies as a Met fan, and as we know, over here, big-time Yankee fans, and we had a little sparring match over that. But the Mets are starting to pick it up, Dave, so I'll give you a break on that one.
Absolutely. Mets fans are welcome here.
Can't stand a guy from Queens.
Yeah, you can. You can take the guy out of Queens, but you can't knock the Mets fan out of him. But we will definitely try when we see him in person. So I want to move on. Right now, I want you to press your share button. Now, everybody keeps saying, when are we going to have a 2-hour show? When we get 20 people in every show to click the share button, because it's free, there's no charge for it, we will then talk about going to a 2-hour show. So press your share buttons now. See, nothing happens, no ripple, nothing. See how much power I command. So David, I've been a little bit concerned this week about conversations that have been going on about the fact that thank you, Gina, that's one, about the fact that they are talking now about not moving the embassy, the American embassy, from where it is now to Israel. Now, what do you make of this? Do you know if this is actually set in stone, and is this something that you will be pissed about if it doesn't change as promised?
Well, in Israel, there's a lot of fake news, like you see in America, and that's that's the way it is, unfortunately, with the world media. But Netanyahu said there's no official report on the embassy being moved, and the White House, I see, there's no official statement of being moved. Now, personally, yes, I hope they move the embassy, but if they don't, that's okay. But part of the promises that Donald Trump made was moving the embassy to Jerusalem, and it's a huge statement, not only for supporting the Jewish people, but it also sends a statement to our enemies as well, saying that, President Trump recognizes Jerusalem as the undivided capital of Israel. So it's a huge statement in so many levels. But it's not the end of the world that if it does not get moved. I don't think it was a promise that he should have made, because it's such a very, very, very sensitive, touchy, so many logistics involved. It is a huge thing to think about. But I won't get mad if it doesn't happen, but I'm going to wait until I hear from either Trump or Netanyahu for an official stance on it.
Well, I have to say I will be pretty pissed if it doesn't change to there, because the fact that the American embassy over there now is not going to be, if it's not moved as promised, I will be concerned. What do you make of this, Chet?
Well, I wanted to ask David, Trump made a vow to broker peace between Palestine and the Israeli people, and on May 4th, when he hosted Palestinian President Mohammed Abbas at the White House, he claimed that he would do whatever's necessary to broker peace between. And my question for David is, doesn't that take a little more than just a statement from Donald Trump like that? I mean, we're talking about a Palestinian constitution that is endowed with paying terrorists if they kill Israelites. Don't you think that something would have to be changed in their thinking, Dave, before anything like that can happen? And we really understand that will not change, because Abbas himself said that they are not letting go of their goal for the Palestinian state to have East Jerusalem as its capital.
Well, that's the thing. People don't realize what this quote-unquote Palestinian cause is. It is a religious war against the Jewish people and Israel. And my problem, I support Donald Trump 100%, but I don't think they quite understand it is a religious war, not more about land.
Right.
And, he needs to put his foot down saying, stop paying terrorists, stop, killings, and then maybe we can talk about peace, but that's not going to happen, because
Let me just stop you there for 1 second, because I want you to enlarge on that just a little for us, because if you're a Palestinian and you kill an Israeli citizen, you get paid like a pension from the Palestinian authorities for doing that. So can you embellish a little bit on that for us, please, David?
Sure. It's really crazy. I think it's something that Barack Obama set up. All that money that goes into Palestinian Authority, it's a terror organization, and it's just crazy because
Right.
Palestine, quote unquote Palestine, buys so much in the media war that makes Israel to be the bad guys in this whole conflict, to where they sucker the American government into paying for them when something like this happens, especially with fake news media out there. A lot of headlines will say, recently, like a 16-year-old girl was killed, but they never say the reason why. She was actually a terrorist, trying to kill Israelis. So that's where this whole thing came from the Barack Obama administration.
Absolutely. I think it's a total concern.
I'm sorry, Xander, but David, isn't it also true that if one of these terrorists is killed in the act of terror, in the act of trying to commit jihad against an Israeli, and most of the times they target the Israeli troops, if they're killed, the family is taken care of, correct, according to the Constitution of Palestine?
Yep.
That is absolutely correct. The money goes straight to the families when that happens.
Unbelievable.
That's kind of like basically that is encouraging the Palestinian authorities, and let's face it, Hamas are a terrorist group. And yes, before you say it, I know they were democratically elected, but not in the state that they're in now. It's like Hamas are actually encouraging Palestinians to kill Israelis with the promise of payment, like ongoing payment for doing that. Now, one of the things that I think that needs to be part of this peace brokerage is to demand that that stops immediately. I've said for a long time that one of the ways to make countries change the things that they do is to cut aid and trade. And we need to impose sanctions on Palestine to actually get them to just behave like decent human beings, to begin with, in order to start brokering that peace process.
That is absolutely correct, and I feel the only way to do it is get rid of Hamas. And it's not just Hamas. There are so many terrorist organizations. I was at a briefing not so long ago with one of the Xrad groups. It's actually a liberal group, but as a journalist, and I am actually going to these meetings and learn from them, and there's tons of these radical Islamic terror groups. It is crazy to find out how many there are. So it's not just Hamas, it's Hezbollah, there's Fatah, and there's everyone in between, inside, quote unquote, the West Bank, which is actually Judea and Samaria.
Right.
And it's all the same mission, same purpose to wipe Israel off the map, and they get paid for it. It's crazy.
Absolutely, yes. Now, I want to come back a little closer to home and discuss with you the reaction in Israel of the fact that Donald Trump this week quite rightly fired James Easy Comey, Easy Goey. What has been the reaction over there?
Well, with liberal media in Israel, they sort of the same reaction as the liberals in America. And, of course, the conservatives in Israel support the decision. I mean, Comey, he was supposed to really be tough on Clinton during that whole investigation. I mean, it was so obvious that she was guilty in so many levels. And somehow she got away with scot-free, even ran for president of the United States. What is that guy doing these days? So I think Trump made the right decision to fire him, and hopefully they'll get a stronger leader out of it.
David, was there any reaction from Bibi himself as far as what he thought about the firing of James Comey?
No, I did not see any reaction. Normally, when it comes to stuff like that, they kind of keep it hush because, he's a statesman, so he's very professional when it comes to that area. Okay,
that's fair. Okay.
So what preparations are being made? Because I believe Donald Trump's coming to Israel very soon.
Well, definitely security is definitely running up, and they're looking forward to it. But as far as right now, it's the security measures. Yeah, that's pretty much the huge talk of the town. President Trump coming in.
So do you think there's going to be the same level of, cleanup and, make everything look wonderful, like Bill de Blasio did when the Pope was coming to New York?
Oh, I'm sure, definitely. There is a sign where everything has to be spick and span, especially the President of the United States. So yes, it's going to be very quote unquote prestigious.
But aren't you trying to get into this this meeting? Aren't you trying to get to be part of the press corps?
Yes, I am trying very hard to get a meeting with him. Rather to just even say hello or tell him my spiel on the whole conflict. And I hope I was successful. I'm trying hard. I wrote some articles about it and sending out tweets and emails and doing all I can to make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you every luck with that. I want to just spend a minute and ask you about your latest article. Tell us what it's about.
The latest article? It's about the Turkish president, Erdogan. He recently made some comments saying that the Muslims should actually swarm the Temple Mount, which is the holiest site in Judaism overall, and that's where the temple was built.
Right.
he has a problem with a national bill that was recently put in, making Israel an actual Jewish state nationality. And of course, I have a problem with that. You know, why is it such a sin for Israel, the one tiny little spot in the world, being a Jewish country? There's Muslim countries all over the place, and he turned a country that was Christian into Muslim. So, I mean, what gives him the right to say what goes on in Israel? So, yeah, I wrote an article about that, and I'm sending it out as much as I can.
Don't you think that a lot of countries are really having too much to say about Israel? I mean, I remember being really angry a couple of years ago when Barack Obama had the audacity to tell Israelis to stand down in the face of Palestinian attacks. Aren't too many countries trying to have a say in how Israel runs?
Pretty much the entire world. I don't think there's many countries that actually say, no, you know what, Israel has the right to be Jewish. And the problem is we have our own liberal leadership that says that, it's demeaning to the Muslims, blah, blah, blah. And I think, it seems like the only time the world cares about Muslims is when Israel wants to be Jewish.
Right.
When Muslims are getting chemically attacked, when Muslims are getting kidnapped or killed in other Muslim countries, everybody's saying, but when it comes to Israel, oh my gosh, the Muslims, we gotta protect the Muslims. And it's bullcrap.
Right.
Right, because it's 90% of the attacks on Muslims in the Middle East are by fellow Muslims.
Yes.
It is terrible. It's a horrible thing. I wanted to say one thing about what Connie said. This is a true statement. She said, did you know that James Comey worked as one of Clinton's attorneys during Whitewater? That actually is a fact.
Yeah, I actually found that out yesterday and was not surprised to find out that was the case. But should that not have been a reason to recuse oneself from that investigation?
Not when it comes to the Clintons, Xander.
Because one dirty hand washes another.
That's right.
The more I hear, the more I think it's imperative for the American people to get some closure, because there's no closure with regards to the Clintons, that they immediately put together an independent investigation into the things that Hillary and Bill Clinton have done. Because, even just aside of all the political stuff, this guy has raped his way through America for 40 years, and she's covered it up for him. And that's not what this country is based upon. It's not appropriate to be a public politician and be raping people and sexually harassing people and getting away with it just because you are a politician. It's not appropriate. And, someone said to me the other day, aren't you afraid of being sued for referring to Bill Clinton as a rapist? And I'm like, no, I will get my friend Juanita Broderick to come and back me up, So if he says that I'm slandering by saying he's a rapist, I'll get her to come along and say, it's true, he raped me. So bring it. Bring it, Bill.
He's a rapist. And the other thing about Bill Clinton is he's a shady character. There's close to 60 people that had close ties with the Clintons that went, either committed suicide or had a car accident or had a barbell fall on them when they were working out. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Really. It's the Clinton mafia.
Yes, it is. And the sooner these people are called to task, because you know what's happening right now, don't you? They're grooming, what's her name? Horseface? What's the daughter called? Chelsea. I'm sorry to all people out there with horse faces. I didn't mean offense to you. Chelsea Clinton, they're grooming her for the same. Now, I want to give the last word to David. Do you feel there should be an independent investigation into the Clintons?
Definitely. I still can't get over the fact that she had 20 to 30,000 emails on a server that should have been
in her bathroom.
I mean, it's crazy. And you know the whole bull crap thing about it is, liberals were furious over a stupid comment that Donald Trump made that was supposed to have been private, but they're silent that Bill Clinton was a freaking rapist.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, hello, got a comment here that was private, and, Billy Boy
Disgusting.
Republicans, liberals.
Disgusting. But there. It's interesting how many liberals will respond to you and say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. He's not the president anymore." So it's okay that you've raped for 40 years and had it covered up for you by your wife, just because you're not the president anymore. I task President Trump to instigate a full investigation into the Clintons and get them done and stopped. Once and for all. We are out of time. It always catches up on us. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to our guest, David Weissman, for calling all the way from Israel. Tell people where they can find you, David.
Sure, you can find me on Reactionary Times, Times of Israel, Politics, 307 Joe Messina, Israel's Voice, and right here on X-RAD.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, David. You have a great week, and give our best to your family, and we will speak to you very soon.
Okay, you have a good one as well.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Dave. Take care.
God bless, Dave.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was David Weissman. Make sure you check him out. All of his contact information is on the Xrad Facebook page for today. I have to say one thing very quickly for Connie, because she said it 12 times in the feed. That's what she wants me to say, China! So there you go. That's your little China fix for the day. Thank you to my wonderful co-host, Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Tell people where they can find you and tell us about your show on Sunday. 2-hour show now.
Yeah, sure. Well, go to freedomondeck.com and check us out there, and that's where you can get some of the hottest topics. You can also, from freedomondeck.com, click on our Facebook, like us, and also follow us on Twitter. That would be awesome. That would be huge. On Sundays, now it's from 3 to 5. Last week we had Xander. We hope everybody listened. But you can listen to us and live stream us on 949newsnow.com. That's 949, all together, newsnow.com. And you can listen to us on the Sundays. And this week's going to be pretty good. We have John Hawkins from Right Wing News. I think everybody knows who he is. A pretty big guest. And we also have one of the gubernatorial candidates out of Connecticut, Michael Welch-Deconis, that's coming on. And he's a wounded warrior. He was featured in National Geographic's SAVE program. And we're excited to have him on as well. And, of course, Xander, you can always hear me here when I'm covering from somebody else. Maybe one day, Xander, I'll have my weekly spot with you.
You never know. That might. You never know. Don't hold your breath too long. But you just never know. I might be calling you on that at some point very soon. So thank you to Chet Martin. Make sure you check out Freedom on Deck on Sundays. Please, guys, before you go, please click the share button. I can't tell you how imperative this is, because if we want the show to grow, we need other people to be able to see it. For every one person that shares it, that means that everyone in your timeline gets to see that too. So please click share before you go. If you love me, really love me, click the share button. Click it now. I've got to go. I really do love you all. Chet will be back with us very soon. Check him out on Sunday on Freedom on Deck for the 2-hour show, 3 to 5. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Life, it has been good to me.